Where are you going? We haven't even started.
Hello and welcome back to the Punchlines and Plot Twist official podcast. I'm your host, Caleb.
I'm the co-host, Slim.
And today we are going to be breaking down the UFC 107 fight card that happened last night. It was supposed to be the fight card of Blanchfield and Barber, but it ended up being the main event of Gamrot and Klein.
Which was a pretty good fight.
It was a pretty decent fight, but we are going to start all the way down at the bottom.
We were also supposed to get 12 fights. It ended up being 9, so this is going to be a little faster than it normally is.
Saturday morning we had 10, and at fight time we had 9.
Yep.
I didn't do great last night at all. My picks, I was very confident going in, and a lot of weird shit happened last night, and my picks fell apart. I went 4-9. You had a slightly better night going
6-9.
6-9.
Yeah, there was one fight that, because I mean, people are just bound to get things wrong, but one of them it happened, and I went,
yeah,
that was not supposed to happen.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Starting off with the first fight I picked incorrectly was Ryan Dos Santos versus Alice Ardeline. With this fight all week long, I was telling you all week long, I had picked Dos Santos on the podcast, but I wasn't super confident about it. I did like Alice Ardeline a little bit. And all week I was thinking about flipping my pick. Saturday morning I wake up, I'm like, no, Dos Santos has got this. And Alice Ardeline came out and beat the living dog shit out of Dos Santos for 3 rounds straight. Pretty
much.
She got 30-27 on one judge's scorecard and then 29-28 on every other scorecard. Alice Ardeline had 159 total strikes to Ryan's 79. Control time was even between them, and both of them had one takedown, but on the feet, Alice just was piecing her up and putting hands on her and looked really clean yesterday.
Yeah. Alice was my pick. I thought she would outdo her on the feet. Kind of overshot my expectations, too. I didn't think she was going to... Like, I'm looking at the stats, and she basically doubled
everything.
Everything, yeah.
Except for control time and takedowns.
Yeah. Yeah, but on the feet, twice the amount of total strikes, significant strikes, head strikes.
Body strikes.
Leg strikes. Just pure volume.
Yeah. It was an impressive showing from Alice Ardeline for sure. Shows that she might belong in the UFC, and people were starting to doubt that, but she proved her place last night, for sure.
Yeah, Herbert versus Bilal next.
All right. Following that we had Balaji Oakley versus Michael Aswell Jr. This was a last-second switch. Balaji Oakley was supposed to be taking on...
Moraes, right? Is that right? Morales? Can't remember his name. Moderos. Right? No.
I'm getting there.
No.
Yeah, Markel Moderos.
There we go.
I
was blanking. I was like, I was going through all the M names I know.
Young contender. This was a fairly competitive fight. Michael looked pretty clean. But Balaji got it done. He was the more dominant striker. He was putting some real heat behind those punches.
It was close, though. It was close.
And credit to Michael Aswell Jr.'s chin. Because he was eating some heat. He took 92 head strikes. 243 were thrown.
So did Balaji Oki, though, too. They both landed 92 head strikes.
Wow.
But Oki's
got some
looked
power.
like they had some power. Every headshot I saw, that motherfucker had his feet planted, and he loaded up and landed.
Yeah, but Balaji looked good. Michael looked good.
I'm actually very excited to see this Michael Aswell Jr. in the future, because that dude, he will stand there and scrap with you. I thought Oki was just going to flatline him.
I did too.
Props to him, though. Props to him.
Yeah, I had knockout or decision against Medeiros, but then with Aswell, I rode pretty hard on the KO and didn't happen for me, but oh well.
I mean, I still picked Oki, so I was good on my pick there, but it was... Michael Aswell kept it competitive, though.
Yes,
I will give him that. Dude's a dog. And then the third fight we had was Jordan Levitt and Kurt Hollabaugh, which I remember somebody saying, Jordan Levitt can't submit Kurt Hollabaugh. And Hollabaugh is not going to get embarrassed by this dude's jiu-jitsu.
I was incorrect.
And a minute and 39 seconds into the first round.
Puts him out cold.
With an anaconda choke. Just absolutely flopped him around until that choke sank in and cranked his head. It was dirty.
Kurt Hollabaugh looked good for about 30 seconds in that fight on the feet, and then Jordan Levitt shot his first of many takedowns. And Kurt was popping back up fairly well at first. I was still confident in him. And then that weird scramble happened. Jordan caught that neck and didn't let go. I thought Kurt was good for a second when he had his arm up, and then as soon as his arm dropped,
I was telling you too. As soon as he rolled, I'm like, he's got it. He's got it. And you're
and
like, no, he's good.
I will publicly say, Jordan Levitt, I'm sorry I was wrong. I had underestimated your grappling just a little bit, and I overestimated Kurt Hollabaugh's wrestling quite a bit, for sure. Yeah. But he got it done. One of the three most entertaining fights of the night.
Yeah, even though, like, I didn't care about bragging when it happened. It was just one of those, holy shit, he just did that moments. Like, it was pretty impressive.
And then he hit the worm at the end there, too.
Yeah.
New dance instead of twerking.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God. I was not ready for that.
Next up was the flyweight bout between Rafael Filo and Alan Nascimento. This was my saving grace in the prelims.
This is the one I got wrong.
This is the one I got right. It was one of the few that I was riding pretty hard on with Nascimento, and I was like, dude, I think they're going to evenly match each other, and whoever is on top in those exchanges is going to be the dominant one, and that's exactly what happened. The first round, Filo was on top. He looked good. He had one submission attempt in that. He had about 6 minutes control time. But then in the second and the third, Nascimento was on top. He was the dominant player. He didn't do much with it. I will give everyone that. I will fully admit that. He did not do much with it. But he was the dominant. He had top control. He had top pressure. And he kept Filo on his back the entire time.
I still think Filo maybe should have pulled that one out. I'll stick by it. He had more total strikes, significant strikes, head strikes, body strikes. He only had 43 less seconds of control time and 3 more takedowns, even on the submission attempts. But I thought that one was going to go to split decision, honestly. Just because it was a wrestle-heavy match and they kept flipping between top control and... But
I knew
they both looked good.
Filo won the first, Nascimento won the second, too. The first, second, and the third.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. I'm not saying it was a robbery. It's just while I was watching it live, to me it seemed a lot closer.
I will say Filo had better hands, for sure.
Because not much happened on the mat between both of them.
Yeah.
It was really impressive grappling and scrambles and like everything that was going on the mat. But neither of them really did anything with it. It wasn't like a super exciting like fireworks fight, but if you do like grappling, that was a pretty good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one I got wrong. I took the preacher boy.
Nascimento got it done.
Mm-hmm. And then we're moving on to the first fight on the main card after just 4 fights. We had Zachary Reese and Dusko Todorovic. And Zachary Reese pulled out the unanimous decision win. 29-28 him. And this one was a really, really competitive fight too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Zachary Reese did his thing, though. I thought Zachary Reese was going to put him out. He still ended up winning, but I did not think Dusko's chin would hold up the way it did. And honestly, I didn't think Zach Reese's chin would hold up the way it did because they were just trading shots the entire time, pretty much.
Yeah, they were totally even on total strikes landed with 73 apiece. But Zach Reese did have more significant strikes with 50 to 35.
Yeah.
But Dusko was definitely the more dominant wrestler. He had 5 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. He had 4 takedowns out of his 13, which isn't great by any means, but Zach Reese countered with his own 2 takedowns out of his 3 attempts and had a minute control time. It was really Dusko got him down early, was dominant in the first round, and then Zach Reese learned that he couldn't get taken down by this guy again.
Yeah.
And he started piecing him up. He landed some good strikes, and then he mixed in his takedowns pretty well. He looked decent. He didn't look as good as I hoped he was going to, but I think he showcased that he is a fairly well-rounded fighter and he can handle adversity pretty well. But Dusko also showed that he might be a problem in the future once he gets some more striking potential to him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because his wrestling is there, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, we had the women's featherweight bout between Ketlin Vieira and Macy Chasson. This was another fight I got wrong. Caitlin Vieira had a 10-pound weight advantage coming into this, and she put it to use. She was planting her feet and throwing heavy strikes that were doing some pretty heavy damage, and then she got her to the ground, threw her down, used her weight there, and then just laid on top of her and smothered her the entire fight. Over and over again, 10 minutes of control time, 106 total strikes.
No takedowns, though.
Caitlin Vieira looked fantastic last night.
And I will say Macy looked terrible.
Yes, she did.
Because even though I picked Vieira, I thought this was going to be a much more competitive fight.
I thought Chasson was going to finish Caitlin Vieira. And I was screaming at the TV last night. Like, Macy, move, do something, please, elbows down, something, do anything. Like, I was baffled by how dominant Caitlin Vieira looked last night. And yeah, Macy it was not her night. She did not have the new mom power that I thought she was going to have.
Yeah.
And it was tough to watch.
I was fine with it. I got my pick right. I was just sitting there smiling while he was yelling, but it all worked out. Our next fight we have, though, is Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. One of the 3 fights that was very entertaining to watch. Victory by punch by Dustin Jacoby up against the fence. I had Bruno Lopez just because the odds were ridiculous. So I was like, fuck it, we're gonna roll with an underdog here. I was completely wrong. Dude got flatlined.
Yes, he did. Exactly like I thought he was going to.
Very early in the first round.
Exactly like I thought he was going to.
Well, I knew he was chinny, but we were sitting there, and it was looking fine for like the first minute. Mm-hmm. Seriously, the first minute passed, and as soon as that 60 seconds hit, Dustin Jacoby went, pink, boop, just like the lightest looking jab ever. It was square on his chin, though, but just a straight jab to the chin, and he went. And then after that, it was just him pummeling him against the fence for 20 seconds before he went out cold. So
out cold, neck against the cage.
Oh, it was dirty.
Oh, it was so dirty. Yeah. And I was riding on. Dustin Jacoby was my lock of the week, and it was the one fight that I was praying to the MMA gods, please give me this one. Just my one lock. Just that's all I need. My whole card's busted at this point. But I need Dustin Jacoby, and I had the KO prop on him. I doubled down on him because everything was going so bad for me, and I hit it, and then I quit betting for the rest of the night because, holy shit, Dustin Jacoby put Bruno Lopes through the fucking ringer, man.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
Beat the shit out of him and then put him out cold.
That was bad. I don't know where Bruno Lopez's future lies after that because that was... to me, embarrassing. Can't go down after one jab, my guy.
Dustin Jacoby, though, is
He's got some power.
powerful.
That's what I'm saying. I just didn't expect him. I totally 1000% was worried about Dustin Jacoby knocking him out cold, but as soon as I saw the jab and him wobbled after that, I'm like, dude, the fight's over. I'm like, even if he survives the rest of this first round, I'm like, he will get him in this 15 minutes. I was like, this fight's over.
It's just a matter of when.
He saw my face because he jabbed him, and I went, oh, fuck. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, man, it was good, though. The next fight, though, freaking blew my mind.
This was the most insane one to me.
This
was the most exciting fight in my eyes.
As soon as this fight happened, I was like, yep, nope, I'm done. I cannot. I was kind of teasing the idea of betting a little bit more on Klein. I'm glad I didn't. Looking back at it now, but Billy Ray Goff was a guy that I thought was going to dominate this fight. I thought both of these guys had different opponents previously on this card. Both of their opponents withdrew from the fight, and they were left together. They were both my picks for their fight respectively, but I thought once this matchup happened, Billy Ray Goff was just going to dominate, and it was the complete and utter opposite.
Oh my gosh, Brahimaj did him so disgustingly dirty. And then after that, the UFC decided to do him disgustingly dirty and put on the referee cam and showed his lifeless body laying in the corner. Literally, he was out for like 10 seconds, eyes rolled back. He hit him with a standing guillotine choke. And it must have been deep. Because there was one point where he had the normal standing guillotine lock on it. And then, I don't remember what Goff did. He just kind of scrambled and he let go of one arm and started cranking up on it, like maybe 3 seconds, and just dropped him, and he completely went limp and hit the mat.
I thought Billy was going to survive that first little onslaught, and I didn't think he had that guillotine on him tight. I thought maybe he was going to bring him back down to the ground and try and get a ninja on him.
I didn't think he had it on him at first until he went like this, and I was like,
cranking
oh,
up.
Shit. Mm-hmm. But it happened so fast, because he literally went like this, dropped him, and that was it. He was out cold.
Oh, man. It was hard to watch, because Billy Ray Goff is a guy that I have a lot of respect for and I'm very high on, and that was brutal submission.
Don't get me wrong, from the other film I've watched on Billy Ray Goff, his striking seems
fantastic,
but
his grappling,
I severely overestimated his defensive grappling.
Yes.
Because he completely because for a fight, this was short notice it was like, what, 2 weeks out?
Well, they both had other opponents, so they were full fight camps for both of them.
Well, yeah, I know, but they weren't prepared for each other for that whole fight camp.
Yeah,
so coming into that with like limited knowledge on this guy, I kind of wanted to see what Brahimaj would have done to his former opponent, because that was dirty.
I agree.
And then for our new main card, we got Mateusz Gamrot and Ludovic Klein.
Another fight I got wrong.
I respect Klein. I think he's going to have a great future in the lightweight division. I think the UFC knows that too, because they gave him, he's unranked, and they gave him a shot against the number 7 Mateusz Gamrot. And Gamrot showed him that there's levels to this, and he needs to, instead of jumping right into the top 10, he might want to fight a top 15 first and then climb his way. Because I'd love to see that rematch too. If he went and fought top 15, like 2 fights, and then going back into the top 10, fought Gamrot again, that would be a banger. Because it was still a good fight, but Gamrot definitely dominated him. He 30-27'd him.
Yeah, I mean, the first round, Gamrot was extremely dominant, and just got his wrestling, kept his hands going, and then got the wrestling going early. The second round, Klein kept it a little bit more competitive on the feet.
I still think Gamrot dominated that second round.
Gamrot still had the dominant side on the wrestling, for sure.
The closest one to me was that third round. Because there was less wrestling in the third.
See, I'm looking at the breakdown per round right now. Round 2, it was 46-48. Round 3, it was 69-31. I thought the same thing watching it, but now that I'm looking at the round by round, it was the second round that was the most competitive.
Either way, it was a unanimous decision. All 3 judges scored at 30-27, and I'm not disagreeing with them at all.
I don't either. I think Klein did look good, though.
I think Klein almost got him, too. Like, you can tell he's got some wicked power behind his hands.
And that's what I was counting on, was just his power.
Yeah, and I do think he could have been able to pull that off. It's just, he definitely needs to work on his grappling.
Yes.
The striking is 1,000% there. I think he almost caught. Well, I was watching it. He might have slipped, but he hit Gamrot with some pretty heavy shots that looked like it hurt him because he was like, okay, fuck the stand-up angle, we're wrestling now. And that's when it went completely downhill.
Yeah. For him to climb the rankings, he needs to improve his wrestling because in the lightweight division, the hands are very important, and he's got them.
He did go against one of, in my opinion,
the best
top 3 lightweight grappler in that division.
Top 5 for sure. I'd have to think about it for sure.
I hold
Gamrot
up there pretty high.
For me, top 5 for sure. But yeah, no, the lightweight division the hands are important. He's got the hands, but he's got to improve that wrestling game if he wants to climb these rankings for sure.
Absolutely.
And then the final fight that did not happen, Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. 5 minutes before walkout, Macy Barber allegedly has a seizure.
According to Erin Blanchfield.
And cannot contend for this fight. Erin Blanchfield thinks that's wildly unprofessional. I tend to disagree. I think that a medical emergency such as something like a seizure is completely uncontrollable, and you shouldn't be fighting after you have a seizure.
Yeah.
And that's why the medical commission's there. And if it was Erin Blanchfield that had the same issue, I'd be saying the same thing. It's not just a Macy Barber thing. It's the emotions and the adrenaline right before that can set up a scenario for somebody with a compromised health system to have a seizure and have that happen completely unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it happened. I wanted to see this fight, but I'm glad the health commission stepped in and did the right thing here.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Macy Barber makes like a full recovery and she's fine.
Yep. I do question if this is something also related to that tough weight cut she had as well.
And maybe that autoimmune thing that she was having
before. She's had a lot of health issues in her past coming off a long layoff for those health issues.
After that happened, me and him were both talking about it, and we were like, if she continues fighting, she needs to move up a weight class.
Just so that way she doesn't have to worry about the cut anymore.
Yeah, because if she's that compromised because she looked rough, and I had been saying that all week, because if this fight did continue, after that, I'm sure Blanchfield would have killed Barber. If she was that compromised going into this fight.
Yeah, that compromised.
Because she looked rough at the weigh-in, her previous health issues.
And then a seizure right before.
Yeah.
Well,
and like you said, I can't hold that one against her at all. I know Blanchfield was talking shit to Barber, too, about pulling out of this fight.
Beforehand.
Yeah, she's like, we'll even see if we'll make it to the Apex, Yeah. Which is...
But my heart also does go out
right.
for Erin Blanchfield at the same time, though, too, because she's ready to fight, ready to rock and roll, and then...
No, mine doesn't. No. That's part of the game. She got paid her show. She got paid her win bonus. She still got all the money for winning. She didn't have to throw a punch. I know it sucks she had to put all that work in. She still got paid for it, though.
But she's a fighter. She wants to fight.
I know. She can fight again.
Yeah, just put her on another card.
Just personally, me, I would be like, I hope you do better. Let's run it back in the future when you're good. Because if it was me, I'd be like, fuck it. I'll move up a weight class, too, just for that rematch. But even though it didn't happen. But yeah, you can't hold that against somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can control a seizure.
Absolutely.
If that's what happened. But
all thoughts and prayers going out to Macy Barber, hoping that she's all right. But
I am excited to see what happens, though, because I know Blanchfield's on a tear right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what she does in her division, and I do want to see what happens with Macy Barber, whether it's she moves up or maybe even stops fighting because of the health compromise, which I don't want to see. But if that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. So,
but got to see my GOAT, Valentina Shevchenko, in the post-fight conference.
She was commentating.
She was talking about it, and I think she said it perfectly, man. There's nothing else really to say about it. But we hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and recap from UFC 107. And we know it wasn't the best night, but we're UFC fans, we're fight fans, we're just excited to see fights in general. So
there were still really entertaining fights within this card. It's just a bummer that so many fights got rescheduled. People lost their opponents. They did find 2 matchups to continue doing, but if they didn't, we would have only had 7 fights on this card.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's bummed out about it. You get so used to seeing 12 that when something like this happens and everybody's having their problems, it's
pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it's like, damn, we only get 30 minutes of fighting.
For sure. And yeah, hopefully 316 can hold it together and
don't
keep
even jinx it, dude.
That card strong.
Don't even jinx it. That card is nice.
Because it is a very good looking card to fill out next week at the end of the week. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Make sure to check out all of our social medias. Our link tree will be in the description down below. Make sure to go check that out. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe.
We got a Twitter, Instagram, a couple different TikToks you can check out. YouTube, Spotify, and that's it.
Alrighty. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.